Hey, welcome back, Ram fans. Mark from Rams Up here. We got two preseason games under our belt now, and I feel like we've seen enough of these draft picks to give some preliminary grades on how we feel about this draft. Premature, I realize, but let's give it a shot anyways. And words to the wise, I do not grade second round picks the same way I grade seventh round picks. Seventh round picks, I don't give seventh round picks an F, never have, never will, and I won't today. I'll grade these higher picks more harshly. And hey, let's get into it. Let's talk about the second round pick, Steve Avila, the guard out of TCU. He's been handed that left guard job from day one. Maybe he's earned it. Maybe the Rams didn't feel like they really had a lot of options there to improve this offensive line at that position. But, I don't know if he's necessarily blowing open holes in these preseason games, but the Rams obviously like what they see enough of him to give him that job, and he looks like the real deal. Hard to say. This grade is a B for now. Could turn into a C or an A, hopefully an A. A few games in, we're going to learn a lot. A few games in, we are going to learn a lot more about Steve Avila. Byron Young, similar deal. He did not play against the Raiders after he flashed a little bit in the Charger game. Apparently, he did really good in the joint practices, well enough for the Rams to sit him down. And to me, that means he's a starter in that edge rotation. So that's a good sign. I'm feeling good about this pick. We have to see the production, obviously, but for now, I'm going to give that a B plus for the edge rusher Byron Young, a third round pick. Kobe Turner, we see him out there late into the game. Rams are saying all the right things about him. He's an undersized defensive tackle, similar to Aaron Donald in size. Apparently they like what they see. I haven't seen anything special yet, but hey, two preseason games, they're going to need him to step up and play well. I don't know. Really don't know how to grade Kobe Turner, to be quite frank, but I'm going to go ahead and give that a B minus. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. I'm trying not to be over optimistic with some of these grades here, just because I'm a Ram homer, guilty as charged. Stetson Bennett, everybody's ranting and raving about Stetson Bennett, but I see some areas that obviously need improvement. He needs to get rid of the ball quicker. He needs to go through his progressions. The Rams have voiced concerns about his ability to do that. But hey, it's early, two preseason games. This guy just needs a lot more snaps. The reason I would hold back a higher grade on Stetson Bennett is the fact that the Rams passed on Aidan O'Connell, and Aidan O'Connell is more NFL ready. We've seen that. I think he's going to be the starting Raider quarterback, probably starting next year. I really believe that. Aidan O'Connell looks like a really good quarterback. As I joked in my Raider Ram recap, Aidan O'Connell might be the third best quarterback in the AFC West right now. But so I'm going to give Stetson Bennett a B, round 4 pick, rookie quarterback. I'd like to give him a B minus, but I don't want y'all to yell at me too loud, so I'll go with a B. Nick Hampton, 5th round pick, about what you'd expect with a 5th round edge rusher. He's holding up okay in the run from what I've seen. He's close to making some plays, but nothing special so far. Again, it's early. He's going to be probably more of a special teams guy at this time, but for a 5th round pick, I can't give him worse than a B at this point. And Warren McClendon, I was a little bit concerned about him, and then in the game yesterday against the Raiders, he stepped in for Logan Bruss and did a pretty good job. So that was promising. Andrew Whitworth says he has a really great knack for staying in front of defenders. That's a pretty big deal. A future as a swing guard tackle with the Rams is what I'm thinking. So that's a solid pick. I'll give it a B at this point. Davis Allen going into the Raider game, it was going to be incomplete, right? He's been banged up, has not played at all. I commented before the Raider Ram game, the one thing I wanted to see from the Rams and Stetson Bennett is get the tight ends involved. Against the Chargers, Christian Sims had one catch for 5 yards, and that was it. And then Davis Allen steps into the fold. He is clearly our number 3 tight end at this point, 9 catches for 50 plus yards for a 5th-round pick, showing a lot of potential. I'm going to go ahead and give him a B. I'm going to give him a B plus because he, one of the things I mentioned in his draft profile is that he's a human vacuum cleaner. He will go up and get contested balls, could be a really big red zone threat, assuming he gets some playing time. And we saw that on his first catch. That was a really impressive catch he made in traffic, going up and getting the ball. So I'm going to give Davis Allen a 5th-round pick, a B plus. Puka Nacua, what are we going to give him? I think we're all going to agree that's an A at this point. Tempted to give it an A plus, but again, I don't want to be overzealous. It's a little early. They sat him down for the second game, which means he's in their plans. Puka Nacua not playing. Demarcus Robinson out there. Demarcus Robinson returning kicks. So maybe we have this pecking order all messed up. Maybe Puka Nacua is the number 4 receiver after Kupp, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell. Maybe Puka Nacua is the number 4 guy, not Demarcus Robinson, not Tyler Johnson, not Ben Skowronek. Puka Nacua, I'm not going to give him an A plus. A little early for that. Let's pump the brakes on that. But you want to hand out A pluses. I'm going to give Trey Tomlinson an A plus, a 6th-round pick, and this guy is showing up in the passing game, in the running game. Love his attitude, his physicalness. He's probably going to draw some penalties because he's just flying around there making plays. That one call on him for the illegal, I guess you call it an illegal block, flying in and taking out the lead blocker. I guess it's illegal now, right? But I like the way he plays. Trey Tomlinson is going to be a contributor to this Rams secondary very, very soon. A 6th-round pick. That's an E plus. O'Shawn Mathis, I got to go with an incomplete on him. Potentially going to turn into a D for a 6th-round pick if he doesn't bounce back and get moving. He's at risk of ending up on the practice squad at best at this point. And I know it's health issues, but hey, it is what it is. I'm going to give him an incomplete. But O'Shawn, you need to start showing up at class and turning in your papers, or you're going to get a D and you're going to have to repeat this course. I know that doesn't apply to football, just using some college terminology there just for kicks. Zach Evans, the running back, a guy that if you've been listening and watching, he just needs to get some space, and this offensive line hasn't been able to do it for him, but he's looked okay. I think he's in a battle for a 4th running back spot with Royce Freeman, and I think Zach Evans is going to win it. Royce Freeman delivers that. He brings to the table that ability to punish defenders, trying to win, earn a 1st down, and we saw that against the Raiders. He gained like 3 yards after contact and got the Rams a 1st down. I don't know if Zach Evans is that type of running back, but we did get him involved in the passing game a little bit, and he just needs to be in space, I think, and give him some time. He could be an okay NFL running back, but at this point, I'm going to give it a B minus. It's a 7th-round pick. You can't be too harsh on him. The Rams obviously found a running back that could be a potential backup in the 7th round. That's not too shabby. Ethan Evans. Now, on the one hand, you say never draft a punter or a kicker in the draft. Just never draft either one. And so a lot of people are going to give this a D or an F just because of that. But I beg to disagree. This guy has the potential to be a Pro Bowl punter from what we've seen already. The leg strength is not an issue. The ability to position kicks, precision kicking, directional kicking. We've seen that already. I love Ethan Evans. I love this draft pick in the 7th round. I'm not going to give it an A+ because he is a kicker, but I will give it an A. And then you got Jason Taylor, and I'm not sure what's going on with him. There's a lot. It's just a mess, this competition in the safety group. John Johnson started against the Raiders, which really surprised me. I still think he's a starter back there with Jordan Fuller. Then you got Russ Yeast, Quentin Lake making plays all over the place, mostly on special teams though. And Rashad Torrance got a ton of playing time. Tanner Engel, a guy I wanted to see, he didn't get in until late in the 4th quarter, I believe. And Jason Taylor, he may have been out there. I didn't see him. I'll have to go back and look. Maybe the Rams were already penciling him in on the roster, or maybe he's at risk. I don't know. I can't give Jason Taylor a grade. I'm going to call that incomplete. And Deshaun Johnson, Mr. Irrelevant. Now, if this guy didn't make the team and was the first guy cut, people would give it an F. I wouldn't. I'd give it a D at worst. Now, but what do we do? What do we give him right now? He's still competing for a roster spot, and he hustles. He's in on plays. He's in the mix for a roster spot at this point. So I'm going to give that a C at this point. That could change. Who knows? How do you grade Deshaun Johnson at this point? You'd have to really have eyes on the joint practices with the Raiders and training camp sessions and all that. We can't tell from this game. We don't know what his specific role is on each of these snaps. I'll have to go back and look. But the last pick in the draft, I'll give it a C at this point. But if you go through these draft picks, I mean, the Rams have done okay so far. They got a bunch of guys that are going to make this roster, though I think the only ones that might not make the roster at this point are Mathis. Zach Evans is at a little bit of a risk. Jason Taylor, we just don't know, and Deshaun Johnson. They have some dudes that are going to be really good NFL players, Puka Nacua and Trey Tomlinson. And then guys like Davis Allen, Byron Young, Steve Avila, solid starters at some point, possibly. And not even mentioning Kobe Turner, he could be a very good player as well. So far, this draft is looking pretty darn good. We'll find out a lot more in these first couple weeks of the season, but no complaints here from Rams Up. Pretty good draft at this point. Out here for now.